Ladies, what general weird things happen to you that health class doesn't prepare you for? Discharge 100%. Has to be period poops for me. Lol. No one mentioned that once a month I'd be in utter misery and running to the toilet to shit if I ate a single morsel of food. Orgasms. Someone asked what orgasms were in a sex ed class and the teacher said women can't have them. The teacher was a woman. Dark thick hairs on my chin and boobs. Only one or two, but really bristly and they seem to appear overnight. The odd boob hair has always been a thing but the chin hairs have only started appearing since I hit my 30s. Uncomfortably large blood clots. That all vaginas don't look the same lol. Oh, also, that menstrual cups existed and you didn't have to rely on tampons or pads. I was in health class in the early 2000s, so yeah, they were a thing then. Any issues with periods? Periods shouldn't be debilitatingly painful. I didn't realize this until I was diagnosed with fibroids in my mid-20s. Women need to know about PCOS, fibroids, and endometriosis. Speak up to your physician and your friends and family. Don't needlessly suffer. That there aren't just two options for birth control. It isn't just condoms or the pill. There are hormone plasters, injections, copper UID, hormone UID, condoms for women, and even STD protection for oral sex exists. I only knew about all these options when I was around 18. Being gay. That female sexual health and pleasure are important in any way. Sex ed we got about boys, anatomy, physiology of erections, orgasms, etc., info on STIs, use condoms. Sex ed we got about girls, reproductive anatomy only, periods but only the very basics and a very blanket statement at that. Not a single mention of anything else. I don't think I really understood what a clit was until I was well into high school. As a woman, the importance of foreplay, also the way that your vagina can bleach your black underwear in the crotch area. To pee after sex. They definitely didn't teach me that, and I had a couple of UTIs when I was young before my female boss at the time told me about the whole peeing after sex thing. I really wish they taught us that. Yeast infections. How you get them, how to avoid them and how to treat them. This weird second puberty happens in your early to mid-20s that no one warns you about. Despite having never been pregnant and no change in my actual weight, clothes that fit me for years stopped fitting. My hips widened, and my weight shifted to my thighs, hips, and ass. As a middle school sex ed teacher, I love looking through these lists to confirm that I'm doing a good job and talking about the right things. And learning new info to add to. Thanks everybody. Also, in general I think they should have talked more about potentially toxic or abusive dynamics that you can encounter with sexual relationship, and what is okay and what is not okay. That labias come in all shapes and sizes. When I was around 10, puberty hit me early. I went to the emergency room with my mum because my left small labia was a lot longer than my right one and I was scared to death. Turns out it's totally normal and my left labia is still a lot bigger than the right one. Discharge. Was never prepared for that. I still have discharge regardless of my menstrual cycle. My health education in school barely existed, despite growing up in a very liberal part of Western Europe. Lumps in breasts. I never ever was taught to check or look out for it, even at a young age. I had a non-cancerous tumor that was removed when I was 16. No idea it was even possible at that 16. Thankfully it was not bad, but something I wish I had learned to look out for, even as a teen. Discharge, Bartholin cysts, common conditions like PCOS, endometriosis, even yeast infections BV. It feels like women's health is just, you have a vagina, eventually you'll hit puberty and grow breasts and hair everywhere, you'll also get a period and can get pregnant, yay womanhood. Congrats. That it is normal for girls to have sexual thoughts. The fact that you can get pimples on your vagina, and that doesn't mean you have an STD, it means you have skin. Everyone's normal is different, and even your normal can change as you age. I.e., labia shape, discharge color, smell, prevalence, length of menstruation etc. Butt crack, whole hair. Health class didn't teach me this and porn taught me that it doesn't exist on women. The amount of years I spent trying to shave that area of my body because I thought I was gross is depressing. I got on birth control and grew fucking hair on my chest. Hypothyroidism as well as other hormone imbalances. No one told me about the clitoris. I found it on my own anyway, but I thought I was weird for enjoying that because I had only been taught sex equals penis in vagina. Didn't realize what I was into was totally normal until college. Blood clots and tissue discharge during period. I'm not menopausal yet, but I kind of can't believe health class never even mentions it. The only thing I know about it is that your period stops and there are hot flashes. I wish they would have talked about body changes beyond puberty. I know nothing about it. I don't know if this is just me, but oh well. There isn't a day where I don't have discharge. Horny or not, there is discharge in my underwear every single day no matter what. Also, they did a really bad job at explaining how to put a tampon in. They basically said, just stick it up there and push the thing you're supposed to push. First time I put in a tampon it hurt because I got it at a weird angle. Vaginal flatulence during after sex. It happens. It's a little funny, and nothing to be embarrassed about, but the first time it happened I was absolutely mortified by it and prayed my partner hadn't heard it. He probably did hear it. Endometriosis. I knew my period would hurt, but I never thought it could be debilitating pain like this. Dark menstrual blood, the old blood that is super dark. Scared me the first time I saw it. Thought something was wrong with me. I was never told about or showed a diagram of milk ducts in breasts, so when I was told to check for lumps and be wary of breast cancer and felt my milk ducts I freaked out. That the feelings of utter despair and world-ending depression every week before the blood starts is not simple PMS but heavy hormonal imbalance and can be medicated. That you're only fertile for a few days a month. I was convinced that if I had unprotected sex I'd get pregnant. It wasn't until after I was trying to get pregnant that I learned that fertile days were finite. Ovarian cysts. Mine just ruptured on Monday and good God. I still don't really know where my urethra is. I'm 30 years old. Also, was fun learning what a decidual cast is, when I passed one for the first time recently. Discharge. My mom found my underwear all bleached one day when she was doing laundry, so she took me to get tested for yeast infection and STDs. All tests came back clean, so she was really confused. She always used baby powder on her lady bits because she said it kept her clean, but I hated the idea of having powder in my pants. So I went through college dealing with discharge that sometimes leaked through my pants and smelled funny. It wasn't until my early 20s that I discovered liners. I grew up very sheltered. As someone who was exercising a lot at the same time I went through puberty, I think they could have spoken more about the dangers of losing your period. I am 25 and everything. I never had a health class in school. Pregnancy sucks. All the way through. 2/10. First trimester, you don't want to eat or it's like insatiable hunger, and whatever you eat you will most likely throw it all up. No energy whatsoever, and you're gonna worry about your weight fluctuating and your libido will die. I am currently in my second trimester. Nobody told me about ligament pain or joint pain. The body is physically adjusting and it hurts. My tailbone feels like it's gonna just fall off, and walking make your legs feel like they are gonna dislocated from you hips. Also, lightning crotch. Libido comes back though. Everything. Pretty much. Where I grew up, they don't do health class, just biology. One thing that surprised me is that I was always a heavy bleeder and had those huge chunks of blood clot tissue coming out with my period. Fibrocystic breasts. It's when you have cysts in your breasts. They are benign, but can be painful. It can also mess up the view on mammograms. No one told me that clots will come out when you're on your period. Just clumps of solid mass that come out as you bleed and make you think you were pregnant even though you're a virgin and that you're seeing a malformed baby in your pad. Absolutely everything. But I was taught by nuns. I didn't learn anything about periods in sex ed or health class. My mother actually sat me down when I was 11 with a children's dictionary and went over the female reproductive system with me in detail. It was mortifying at the time, but I am so happy she did it because I never learned anything about any of it while in school. They mentioned something about deodorant, and that's all I remember, lol. After half a lesson of that, it was just normal sex ed haha. Endometriosis and other reproductive-related conditions. I don't remember a single lesson that ever mentioned anything this. Probably why it's estimated that 10% of women have it, but it's very underdiagnosed and so many people have never even heard of it. I went to Catholic school, so pretty much everything except periods and pregnancy, and even for those we only got the absolute basics. We did have a very in-depth talk about why God doesn't want you to have sex before marriage, though face with rolling eyes. Today I discovered that your breast tissue goes into your armpits. So some pregnant women will get milk in their armpits.